Okay, I've made a little bit of progress on this 2011 Arctic Cat Mud Pro. I'm to the point now I gotta start draining fluids. I'm ready to drain the coolant, and I'm also ready to drain the oil. According to the dealer I spoke to, they said the coolant passages go through this cover, which that is obvious. There's two coolant lines right there. I asked him about the oil, and he said he's pretty sure the oil does go through there as well. He wasn't the mechanic. The mechanic had already left for a day, and he even said it is a good idea to drain the oil out of these anyways when doing this type of job. I do plan on saving the oil. The oil doesn't have very much time on it. I did check it. It's still pretty clean as well. So the oil will be going back in. I have broke a few of these Torx bolts loose around this cover. I've also removed the shifter linkage. The bike is in neutral, so if I have to roll it ahead, I can. That's not a big deal. But the really next step is to drain the coolant and drain the oil. And I'll be letting both drain probably overnight, just to make sure I get everything out. Since I'm saving the oil and I'm saving the coolant, I want to get as much of it out of the system as I can. I have clean buckets for the oil, and I'm getting buckets later on this afternoon for the coolant. Basically so I can just reuse everything and put it back in, try and save the customer a little bit of money. He is 100% fine with me doing that. Really, the hardest part of doing this entire job is dealing with the Torx bolts. A lot of times the heads are full of mud, and it's difficult to get on them. These ones in here weren't too bad, because I believe these ones are all hardened. But the ones that hold the footwell to the rear fender and the footwell to the front fender are not fun. Also, the two that hold it down to the actual frame, a lot of times you gotta cut them off. Luckily on this one, I was okay since I'd just been in this bike a few months ago. Everything did come loose except for one, this one right here, but I was eventually able to get it out. So as long as you have a reasonably good quality Torx bit, you can usually get these out. There's also a few other tricks out there to help you get a grip on them as well. But like I said, I've broken loose most of these bolts around here. The exhaust shouldn't be in my way. It's just mainly the coolant. I got to get this cover back off again as well. I don't believe there's any fasteners behind there. That's basically the stout of the crank right there. The plan is to get this done, and the bike does run. It doesn't run at the moment, the starter's out of it, but it does run, but it's intermittent. So after this, we want to get the starting issue figured out, get the starting issue fixed, and then basically worry about the runnability, and that's basically all up in there. I'm hoping I don't have to replace the PCM on this. I really hope not, because that's an expensive item. I figure if the customer can live with the way the PCM is, we can definitely save him a lot of money on not having to replace it, sort of thing. They're not cheap. The dealer even said, really, they've totaled bikes over the PCM in the past, and basically the customer said, no, don't fix it, part it out, sort of thing. This customer I'm working for, that's from the dealer at least. This guy I'm working for on this is a family member. He's got more money than brains, but I don't get why he just didn't buy his kid a newer bike that was already sorted out. For the amount of money we already have into this bike, I don't know what he paid for it. He could have bought him a sorted bike that had no issues and been done with it. But this bike here, I think he saw it was a 700. It's in good shape, which it is. It is actually, for its age, being 12 years old, it is in good condition. And the tires are still decent on it, has nice rims on it. So really, I think that's what he looked at, and that's why he picked this bike, even though it was non-running. And for those of you, hoops and casings, wheels and tires, pretty much the same thing. So anyways, that's pretty much it for the bike at the moment. Get everything drained out and proceed to getting this cover off. Then I got to order parts. So this cover will come off. It'll probably end up going back on. I just basically got to inspect it and see how much metal shavings are in the bottom of the case. Basically, the starter comes through right here. So this is the snout of the starter right here. So there's a gear in this area here, and then there's another gear, I believe, down here. But this right here, that's what supports the snout of the starter, and it's a little bearing in there as well. So and I stuck my hand in there the other day, and those gears are pretty worn out. So, and I guess we are going with a more factory starter. We're not going with the $500 option. I found one for three something. So at least I'm getting parts, and I'm not going to spend an arm and a leg on the parts. So anyways, that's pretty much it. So I'll talk to them later. Please keep it redneck like always, and please subscribe and comment.